Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Living in the West. Now, Living in the West, as some of you may know, is a series of episodes where we look into the lives of the minorities living in the West, the Muslim minorities in the West, trying to provide ideas on vision and strategy for this group of Muslims. I have with me Sheikh Haytham Al-Haddad from the Muslim Research and Development Foundation in the UK. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, in previous episodes, we've spoken from the beginning. What's the reason we need a vision, the reason this mass of people need a vision, how to believe in a vision, and what the basics of the vision was. And we spoke that it was Iman, it was Ibadah, Tawheed in its holistic approach, encompassing everything. I asked you to explain this in the previous episodes, and we came to the conclusion it was an individual priorities and communal priorities. We spoke about the individual priorities, safeguarding the Tawheed, safeguarding the pillars of Islam and abstaining from major sins. Now, let's look into the communal priorities. Is there an analogy? Are they very similar? Do they take the same form?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. As we have said about individuals, we have to achieve two levels in terms of community. Once we spoke about community, the first level is the basics of the Tawheed have to be fulfilled, and then after that we need to maybe achieve a higher level. In terms of the aspects of Tawheed, the main aspects of Tawheed need to be safeguarded and need to be secured for the Muslim community as a community, not as individuals.
It's a very important point for us to not look at individuals, but the actual community itself,
yes,
as a body, as a whole.
As a body.
Yes.
And what does this mean? We have to differentiate between individual aspects or individual scope and communal scope. Yes, it is true that a government may deal with individuals differently, separately, but to deal with the community as a whole, it might be something different. For example, let me give this example. We see, and we know this, that the Western governments are so lenient, or they have a degree of flexibility when they deal with Muslim individuals as individuals. However, when they deal with the community as a community, so this flexibility or this level of tolerance is not there anymore. And as a proof for that, maybe you know that Islam is not officially recognized as a religion in most of the Western governments.
It's true.
However, in terms of on an individual level, maybe each government will deal with a high level of tolerance with individuals in terms of their practices and in terms of their faith. This may be covered because of the European law, in general. This might be covered because of that. But do those governments approve or recognize Islam as a religion, as an official religion in these governments? As far as I know, it is only Spain, 3 countries in Europe recognize Islam as a religion. Spain, Austria, and Belgium. These are the 3 countries, as far as we know, that recognize Islam as a religion. Other than those countries, as far as I am aware, it is not really recognized. Islam is not officially recognized as the second or as a religion in that government. Now, leave this recognition, although this is an aim we would like Muslims to achieve, Muslims in the West in general, and we have mentioned this to number of organizations, Islamic organizations that operate on a European level, that they need to work to achieve this kind of recognition on the European level as well as in each country of Europe level. So leave alone this, okay, leave it for a moment, but at least each country, once each country looks to that community, to the Muslim community as a community, they should not force them to accept something against their creed or against their tawheed, something that violates tawheed directly.
So this is the first main point, the tawheed, their creed, from a community level, they can't compromise upon this.
Yes.
They can't be oppressed upon this.
Definitely. And again, the point that I would like to stress on is that we should differentiate between individuals and community, because an individual, the individual, he may have an area to maneuver within, a bigger area. But a community, as a community, they might not have that area to maneuver and to move around.
Okay.
So if an individual is saying, well, my tawheed is secure and it is safeguarded, as an individual, yes, but maybe not as a community.
And this is one of the sayings of many people, especially in the West. I'm okay, personally. And this is the way they see their Islam. But really you're saying, on a community level, they have to check as well.
Yes, yes. Why? Because each one, first of all, from Islamic point of view, there is nothing called I, me, alone. There is nothing. You are part of a body.
Subhanallah.
You are part of the body. In the Quran, Allah Jalla wa Ala never spoke to individuals. Allah Jalla wa Ala is speaking to the whole body of Muslims. Have you ever seen in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhi amana? No. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. As a group of individuals.
Together, all together.
وَكُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ. All of you together. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً, etc. So it's talking about the community. And al-mu'minu, al-muslimu, akhul muslim. So no one should say, well, I am, as an individual, I am secure. I have safeguarded my tawheed. Full stop, that's enough. No. You have to talk about a community as a community. Now, also, who is the community? What forms a community? It is you, me, him, and other people. So we are individuals, but together, whether we accept it or we do not accept it, we are considered to be a community. They are looking at us as a community. So we have to take those considerations that safeguard our tawheed as a community. And as an example, by law, in some countries, the Muslim community, not the individuals, have to participate in some celebrations that include kufr, clear kufr, or clear shirk. Take for example the issue of Holocaust. Now, irrespective of the historical facts about Holocaust, or irrespective of our stance towards this incident, I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about the celebration itself. Sometimes the Muslim community is forced as a community, and especially the leaders of the Muslim community, to participate, and not just only to attend the Holocaust celebration, but to participate in the prayers, etc. And these prayers are non-Islamic prayers. Not only non-Islamic prayers, they violate the center of our identity as a community. They violate Tawheed. So this is an example of an action or a law that is forcing the Muslim community as a community to cross the boundaries of Tawheed. Take the example of swearing an oath. If you go to the court, or if you want to maybe sometimes to get your license or to get other documents as an individual, you have to swear an oath. Now, in many European countries, there is freedom, and they are telling you, if you are a Muslim, then you can swear an oath by your own faith or according to your own faith or religion.
Mm-hmm.
However, this is maybe in terms of the official prerequisites, you can say, or the official body within the government, the official bodies within the government. However, I do remember that we received a question from one of the European countries about the Muslim individuals or certain Muslim groups participating in certain activities. And they were commanded to swear an oath. To swear an oath according to that organization's belief system. And the Muslims told them that we are Muslims, we cannot swear that oath. Mm-hmm. They said, well, they said that they are a secular organization and they have to swear an oath to represent this secular tendency. So they are not allowing anybody to join that organization except if they swear an oath according to the secular values they hold. So this is on a communal level. We are not talking about individuals. We are talking about Muslim organizations want to participate in that body. Now, if it is a must for them to participate in such bodies, then the Muslim community in that country needs to take care of this, because this is a matter of violation of Tawheed on a communal level, and they are bound to participate in such organizations.
Okay, I've got a few comments on this. We're going to take a short break, and inshallah I'll return to these comments. So we're going to leave you for a couple of minutes, inshallah, and return. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
اللهم إني أسألك الفردوس الأعلى من الجنة. اللهم إني أسألك الفردوس الأعلى من الجنة.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Living in the West. Sheikh, just before the break, you spoke about the community responsibilities, priorities. And the first aspect of this, you said, was safeguarding Tawheed on a community level. And you gave some examples. You said, for example, attending a service where you have to do a prayer, something which contradicts Tawheed in its basic form. So I've got a question for you, a rather skeptical question. So what about democracy, Sheikh? I mean, we live in the West, and really we're not forced into accepting democracy, but really we're really pushed into believing democracy, accepting parts of democracy. Isn't this democracy breaking parts of Tawheed, Sheikh? Because this itself is an identity. This itself is something which is against Islam in it's the way it deals with things.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salam ala ashraf al-anbiya'i wal mursaleen nabiyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. First of all, the issue of democracy, I think it is a very wide topic.
Okay.
And maybe we need to tackle it in a separate episode. But here we have to differentiate between something that you are forced to do as an individual or as a community. It doesn't matter. But you are forced. By law, you cannot go against it. Or something that you are pushed to accept. For example, freedom. You said democracy?
Yeah.
Freedom. Freedom, everyone is talking about freedom and that it is one of our values, etc., etc. This is something, and to be by law bound not to go against it, this is something else. This is one thing. The other thing is there are certain aspects of democracy that themselves, the Westerners, they never accept. So those matters that they don't accept within democracy, as well as there are certain aspects that they say that these aspects or these beliefs contradict freedom, the principle of freedom, but they say this is not what we are talking about. Then we can use these as premises to go and speak against democracy and to go and speak against freedom. And to tell them that that's why we don't believe in this type of freedom, but we believe in another type of freedom. Similarly, about democracy, we say that we don't believe in this type of democracy, but we believe in another type of democracy. This is when we talk to them. And sometimes we can say, that's why we don't believe in democracy as such, but we have to explain what don't we accept. This is very important. So the levels of differentiation between democracy and various aspects of democracy and various aspects of freedom.
Okay.
For example, and once we talk about democracy, democracy may means that to allow the mass to participate in choosing what is better for them. This is the general meaning of democracy, because you know it is coming from the word demos, the Greece.
The Greek terminology.
Yeah, the Greek terminology. Now, means the right of people. Now, the right of people to select the ruler, or the right of people to select the law. We have to be careful, because here there are two things. And many Muslims are confused between both selections or both aspects of democracy. And many of our young people are confused. They say democracy is kufr, full stop, without understanding these aspects. For example, the right to select the ruler, this is not a kufr. This is not kufr at all. And maybe you can say that this is very similar to Shura. Of course, Shura, we believe that Shura is more advanced and is much better than this part of democracy.
But this has some traits of Shura in the way it takes a leader, yes?
Yeah. That's why there are many differences. And we believe that our Shura is better than their democracy. But the principle of democracy, this part of democracy, which is giving the people the right to select, this, in essence, is also in Shura, giving not the people, certain people, the right to select. Okay. So the principle of giving the people the right to select, this does not violate Tawheed as such, to select the ruler. Even if we expand the issue of, or the realm of Ahlul Halli wal Aqd, the scope of Ahlul Halli wal Aqd, and we said instead of having Ahlul Halli wal Aqd, let us expand that and include, for example, all adults.
So this group of people, they're the ones who select, say for example, the leader in an Islamic
environment, for an Islamic state.
So now
but if we expand that, then this might be acceptable from an Islamic point of view, and democracy will look like that. So that part of democracy is not kufr.
So let's look at the other part, the laws now.
Yeah, but it is very important that we distinguish which is which part is considered to be kufr and which part is not.
No, this is something which is very clear now, but it's something also new to many people, I think, because they've always taken it as one, democracy. Democracy.
Now, selecting the law, here, there is a difference between forcing you to select a certain law, or you go and say, well, I am against that law. And this, see, the Western people, they don't believe in Allah Jalla wa Ala. They don't believe in the divine. So they wanted a system. And they found that this is the best system for them, because they don't have an external authority to tell them what is right and what is wrong. So how do they know what is right, what is wrong? By introducing this system. So this part of democracy, it does not force you to believe in it as the best system, but it may force you to participate in having your say. And there is a difference between both. If they say that no citizen will be a citizen or will live in this country unless he believes strongly in democracy, then we can say, yes, we need to look at it because this might violate Tawheed. But if they say that we need our citizens or people living within our country to use democratic process in order to achieve what they want to achieve, then this is something else. Here they are not forcing you to believe that democracy is the best system. It is true that it is the best system for them, but for Muslims we believe in the divine, and we believe that Allah Jalla wa Ala is the one who legislates for us, and He is the only legislator. And that's why we have to be careful, and we should be careful when we saying that democracy is kufr as such. Now, even the other part, when they say, for example, let us vote for homosexuality. Imagine that they allowed people to vote for homosexuality. Now you, as an individual, why don't you go and speak against homosexuality? You as a community, we as a community, why don't we speak against homosexuality openly? Why not? This is our problem. They are not forcing us to accept the principle that they are putting, but they wanted us to have our saying. Now this is not a simplistic explanation of democracy, but this is the reality, the essence of what is going on. Now when they force us to accept democracy as a belief system, and no one can go against that belief, then we need to take this matter seriously, and we need to consider it from all angles.
Okay, Sheikh. Now when we come to all angles of considering this, Sheikh, there's one point that you put in there, and you spoke about the hukm of Allah, the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, the Muslim implements this in his life. This is the difference, okay, between the West and the Muslims. We implement the hukm of Allah. What about the court system now in the West? Because the court system in the West, we have to live by it, we use it, we abide by it. It's sometimes the only recourse we have. Isn't this breaking the connection with Tawheed, Sheikh, on a community level as well as individual?
Well, see, we have to be careful, and you are bringing a very big topic. I doubt that we can cover it within the coming few minutes. But we have to be careful as Muslims. We should be mature enough, and not because this something that considered to be against Islam, something considered to be kufr, then as a whole it is kufr. We take it as a lump sum and it is kufr. And let me just conclude by, I think we have a very limited amount of time, by giving you this joke. And it is a real joke. It happened with me. One time we went to one of the parks in London with some Muslims and some children. And the time for Dhuhr came, and we wanted to pray Dhuhr. So we said, where is the Qibla? This is the sun here, and so the Qibla might be in this direction. Then another brother took his watch and he said, well, according to my watch, the Qibla is this direction. So I said to them, let me play this trick. I said to the brother, Subhanallah, now this is the sun created by Allah, and this is our body, our bodies, and we can know that this is the direction of the Qibla, and the Qibla is a ibadah. Ibadah, we are worshipping Allah Jalla wa Ala. And you are telling me by this sa'a, which is made by the kuffar, this watch that is made by the kuffar, and this watch made by them, telling me how to worship Allah Jalla wa Ala and telling me the direction of the Qibla? Believe me, the brother was so amazed, and he stopped for a while. And then he couldn't say anything, and then he accepted my argument.
So he re-evaluated and he accepted what was going on.
Yeah, he accepted that, and he said, okay, we'll go for this direction. Then I said, Subhanallah, ya brothers. Is it a matter that we just put in your argument any word of kufr inside the argument, and then you will the argument? You will win the argument? No, that is not right. We have to be mature. It is not because a court system is a kufr system, then if we are involved in it, then we are involved in kufr. No. And inshallah we will explain that.
Okay, I think that's a good point for us to start in the next episode. Jazakallah Shaykh Haytham. Well, that's all the time we have for today on Living in the West. Hope you can join us in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.